Martin Solveig and Dragonette, that was Hello on Cam FM 97.2. This is the Drivetime show with me, Daniel Edward. And as I said, Joe Witwell is now on the line. Joe was the editor-in-chief at the Cambridge Student newspaper. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you going?
Yeah, good, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I just finished a day's work. I've managed to snag myself the boardroom, which is empty and quiet. So, yeah, I got a nice view over London.
Where's...
Well, good. How's the show going?
Yeah, well, so far so good. Where's work?
I'm working in Covent Garden, a PR firm. I've been here for what seems like a long time. I think about 8 weeks, here for a few more.
Oh, my goodness. Good. So an internship over the summer?
Yep. So, I'm a real boy with a real job.
A real boy, real job, real wages. So what you're doing at the moment, are you flirting with the other side of journalism? The ones feeding the journalists the stories?
It is quite funny to get an insight into just how coaxed and cajoled journalists are into writing certain things on certain topics, and that's certainly been illuminating. It is good to see the other side, but I think my heart lies with true blue journalism, so to speak.
Staying true to the actual sort of aims of journalism, sharing stories. So it's not selling out so much. But what sort of stuff have you been doing then?
Oh God, it's so broad. I've been working with a lot of it's confidential. Just gonna put that out there. But yeah, I've been working with government contracts, obviously with a lot of media, with a lot of clothing, fashion, sort of big brands, but also quite small local brands. And yeah, it's been really good. I'm having a good time. I'm sorry I can't give you more information. I would literally probably be fired. So.
Well, yes, we don't want that. Not at this stage, anyway.
No, not quite.
So coming back to sort of Cambridge side of things, where hopefully you won't get fired and you won't have to rusticate and so on and so forth. How did you get into the TCS side of things?
Oh God! Before TCS, I first wrote for the Tab. I think my first article was about the shadowing scheme run by Kusu, and it was one of those things where I just had a really good experience, and I thought I want to write about this. I was compelled for no other reason than wanting people to know about this thing. So I got in contact with someone from the Tab because the Tab was the most obvious media at the time. They took it on. I did a few features. Then I went on to be their news editor. This is a year ago, so Michaelmas last year. Mm-hmm. Then I had a term of just sort of writing bits for the Tab, bits for TCS. And then I went on to edit TCS with my co-editor, Rebecca Aldridge. And so, yeah, like a lot of things, it was a little bit of chance. It was a little bit of sort of finding who you feel you belong with, who appreciates you. Yeah, it was pretty random, really.
I mean, so just for freshers who are listening, well, upcoming freshers who haven't yet got involved with the papers firsthand, how would you describe the difference between the two that you've worked on?
Oh, that's a good question, and it's a difficult question to answer. I think that the gaps have closed between the two papers quite recently. TCS has a print arm, so if you want to go into print journalism, then you should steer yourself towards the Cambridge Student or to Varsity as well. Tab has always been very focused on online. It's very Cambridge-centred, and it's very driven in its core demographic. But because I had an experience of the Tab, I then, to a certain degree, applied that to the Cambridge Student, and so I think recently the Cambridge Student online side has become a lot more competitive. We're a lot more social media orientated and a lot more focused, and then we've tried to combine that with what TCS is traditionally good at, which is good journalism, sort of integrity.
Yeah, the more traditional stuff.
The sort of the classic things that you go for, being a good person, looking after your writers, that sort of stuff. It's good to sort of marry the two, I think, which I hope we do.
So it wasn't an issue for you doing both of them. You didn't feel like you had to align yourself with one and drop the other completely.
So the way I did it, and different things work differently for different people is I did a term of news editing at the Tab. Then I did a term of writing for both. I would take on tasks and interviews or news articles as I sort of wanted to. And then I would do a term, and then I went on to edit at TCS. I mean, there is a rivalry there, and so I think it's generally frowned upon if you're editing a paper and you write for another newspaper.
Yeah.
But as a writer, it is totally up to you to write for whoever you want to write for. And I would encourage a fresher to have a go at writing for all three newspapers, because you have time to do that. And just find where you think you fit. And in all seriousness, if you have an editor putting pressure on you not to write for a rival newspaper, you have to really question what they're sort of, why they're saying that. And I would actually distance myself from those kinds of editors wherever you find them.
So do as much as you can. I mean, you've done Cam FM as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Last time I had a breakfast show with Emma Clement, station manager. We all love Emma. So yeah, I think the only sort of student media outlet that I haven't had any involvement in is Varsity, and that's because I applied and they rejected me. So I tried.
And that's all you can do. Are you gonna? You're coming back for your third year now. What's your plan of action for your extracurricular side of things for third year?
God, I'm relieved you say extracurricular. I thought you were going to say, what's your plan of action for your degree?
Oh, no. No, having just finished third year, I wouldn't dare ask about that.
Thank you. No, I'm sticking with TCS. When last time we started a radio show and called TCS on the radio, really creatively.
That is imaginative.
And this coming Michaelmas, we are moving out into TV, so we're going to have a broadcast arm, TCS TV. We did a little bit of filming up at the Fringe. I think those videos are online. And yeah, it's quite exciting. It's exciting to take on a new project that hasn't existed before and brand it and do something with it. And it all ties in very well to what I'm doing right now in London. I can sort of use words like brand strategy. Say put some time in.
I tell you what, hairs on the back of my neck standing up at mention of brands. I have to say,
you laugh, but this is now my life.
Well, yeah, exactly. It sounds very exciting though to be setting up something which hasn't previously been there, because a lot of the stuff with student societies is just sort of taking someone else's work and seeing if you can take it just to that next step. Whereas if you're the person actually putting it all together in the beginning, you can really shape something. Yeah,
exactly. And I think I would always, this is going to get a bit deep.
I'm
what
prepared.
I would say, are you ready?
I've got my armbands on.
What I'd say to a fresher is, if you can't find your niche here, make it, because Cambridge is a healthy enough place for you to say, right, I'm going to set up this society. There isn't the student media I'm looking for, I'm going to make it. Or there isn't the debating society I'm looking for, I'm going to make it. And that's kind of what we're doing with TCS TV a little bit. There are certain things we would like to do with video under the TCS brand, and we've been given the freedom by the new editor, Chiara, to do that. So yeah, it's good. I don't know. It's fun. It's all fun.
Well, it makes complete sense. You know, if you feel you've got a calling, go out and do it. I mean,
exactly.
And there are the society syndicate and things like that here, which will help you out in terms of financial assistance, or even just helping you find other people around the university who are interested in your project. Because
and not only that, it's a very safe. Cambridge is like a little trial run at life, where it's almost like you can try out numerous of what are effectively jobs. I mean, if you edit a newspaper, you are basically doing a job. It's like...
alongside a degree, it's madness.
But exactly. So I would definitely recommend, if you have like 10 careers you want to try out, find the societies that match to those careers and do stuff with those societies, and you can soon start to take stuff and cross stuff off your list. And then you're left with whatever you're left with. And for me, that is... well, it's not a lot, but it's helped.
Yeah. Well, you've still got a year to tick off the rest of the things on your Cambridge list. And then
Yeah, I might try
a
Varsity
lifetime
again.
of branding.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, one final thing, and actually, just before we do that, do you want to let people know about the website address, just so that they can check out what's been going up on the TCS website across the summer and maybe over the last term or so?
God, you're good at this. I would have never have thought to plug so hard. Yeah, the website is www.tcs.cam.ac.uk, which is easier to remember than you think because it's the same as your email. Just
That's
without
true.
letters.
And the
That's mainly for
.cam.ac.uk
freshers.
bit proves it's official. You can't have that bit if you're not.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that. That can be our unique selling point. That's another sort of
TCS,
brand
the
word.
real
There you
deal.
go.
Yes, what USP?
USP.
Yeah.
What are your USPs? What is the
Ooh.
narrative that we'll construct around TCS as a concept?
Oh, don't! I won't be able to continue the show. I'm all flustered. Well, I
I
tell you.
might like anonymously message you some of these words over the coming 2 hours of your show.
Well, I tell you what. Your next challenge is to give me the next line of a story. I'm gonna play you the last one. I'm getting all of my guests to give me the next bit of a story, and then
God.
at the end I don't know when I'm going to call the end of this story. When it gets good enough, then I'll put it all together and we'll hear what actually happens. So you're only going to hear the person who's won in front of you.
Oh, wow.
And then
Okay.
we'll see where
That's
you
exciting.
go. I've got high hopes. I mean, we might get some branding in there. Who knows? So
Lower those hopes.
lower those hopes. Okay, fine. Right, here, you're going to hear Stacey with her line in the story.
Okay.
She threw them up in the air one by one, and with a loud bang and a bright flash, they were transformed into a row of doors. Go on, she said. Choose one.
Right. Okay.
It could go anywhere.
The doors formed a cohesive brand narrative which entered a larger message about sustainable living. What just happened? I'm really sorry for the next person.
Sustainable living. Stay tuned because I've got absolutely no idea where that one's going. Thanks very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Speak to you soon.
Enjoy your show.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
This is from Matilda.